Alright, Acts chapter 10. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Salamis, a certain of the brand called the Italian band, a dry out man and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. He saw in a vision, evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of God coming in him and saying unto him, Cecilius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayer of thy arms are come up for a memorial before God. And now a man of Joppa, and called one Simon, whose supername is Peter, he lodged with one Simon, a tanner, whose house is by the sea side. He shall tell thee what thou ought to do. And when the angel which spoke to Cecilia was departed, he called 2 of his household servants and a devout soul of them that wanted on opportunity. And when he had delivered all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa on the morrow as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city. Peter went up upon the horsetop to pray in the 6th hour, and he became very hungry, and when he went and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trench, and saw heaven open, a certain vessel descending up from him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners, and let down to earth, wherein were all manner of 4 foot breadth of the earth, and wood breast and cheap things and fowls of the air, and there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spoke unto him again the 2nd time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. This is what's done twice, and the vessel was received up again unto heaven. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should men beheld the man which were sent from Galilee had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked. Therefore Simon, which was suffering, named Peter, were lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision of the Spirit said unto him, Behold, the men seek thee. Arise therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, doubling nothing, for I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Caesarea, and said, Behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius and Centurion, a just man and one of the 14th God, and of good report among all the nation of Jews, was wanted from God by any holy angel to send for these into his house, and to hear the words of thee. Then called he them in and lodged them, and on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa according him. And the morrow after they entered in the seashore, and had called together his knitmen and near friends. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter took him up, saying, Stand up myself also, and men. But Peter took him up, saying, Stand up, I myself also am a man. And as he talked with him, he wanted in the fourth found many that were come together. And he said unto him, Ye know how that it is unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company of or come unto one another nation, but God had shown me that I should not call any man come in on under unclean. Therefore come I unto you without gainstay, as soon as I sent them. For I asked therefore, for what ye have sent for me? And Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour, and at the 9th hour I prayed in my house, and beheld, a man stood before me in bright clothes, and said, Cornelius, thy prayer is heard, and thy alms had in remembrance in the sight of God. Send therefore to Joppa, and call hither Simon, whose surname is Peter. He is lodged in the house of one Simon, a tanner by the seaside, who, when he cometh, shall speak unto thee. Immediately therefore I sent to thee, and thou hast well done that thou art come. Now therefore are we all here present before God to hear all things that are commanded thee of God. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth I proceed that God is no respect of prisoners, but in every nation that forth him and work righteous is accepted with him. The word which God sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Jesus Christ. He is Lord of all. That word I say ye now know, which was furnished thou out of Jerusalem, and began from Galilee after the baptism which John preached, how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Ghost and with power, who went about doing good and healing all that were opposed of the for God was with him. And we are witness of all things which he did both in the land of Jews and Jerusalem, whom they saw and heard on a tree, him God raised up the third day and showed him openly, not to all the people, but unto witness chosen there before of God, even to to us who did eat and drink with him after he arose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people, to the testify that it is he which was ordained of God to be judged of quick and dead. To him all the people witness that thou hast named, whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sins. Which power Peter yet spake these words of God. Holy Ghost fell on all of them which heard the word. And they of the commission which believed were astonished, as many as come with Peter, because that one on the Gentiles also poured out the gift of the Holy Ghost, for they heard them speak with tongues and magnify God. Then answered Peter, can any man forbid water with tongues that magnify God? Then answered Peter, can any man forbid water that these should not be baptized, which have received the Holy Ghost as well as we? And he commanded them to be baptized in the name of the Lord. Then prayed they him to tarry certain days.